Te encontrar, menina que vem de lá, sonhando com esse lugar, o sol e seu coração. Eu corro pra te encontrar, menina que vem de lá, sonhando com esse lugar, o sol e seu coração. Eu corro pra te encontrar.
Holy shit. Hey guys, just having some technical issues here. 1 second. All right. All right. Hey guys, sorry about that. A little embarrassing. For some reason, my camera decided to turn off. So here we are. Welcome to another episode of Theory Thursdays with yours truly. Now, let's see who's in the chat. We have Andrew Duke. What's up? Nice to see you again. Roller 8. How's it going? Sotne. Hey. Who else is here? Okay, cool. Looks like we got a nice intimate group. So, what we're going to do today, I thought, is... well, actually, before we get into what we're going to talk about today, I wanted to just, first of all, thank all of you guys for, sticking around, and also thank all our presenters. They've been doing a great job with all the streams, and we actually have a couple new streams. So first of all, we decided to continue 343 TV just because we had such a great response, and we had all the community support. We had the giveaways as well, so we want to thank our sponsors for that. So, we're not doing the giveaways as such at the moment because, there's only so many giveaways one can do, but we wanted to thank you guys all for sticking around anyway. And we just started a new show which we're really excited about, which is the Logic Show, for all you Logic users that felt kind of left out. So that is Lewis Beck's new show on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. And then we have another new show which we're really excited about, which is tomorrow, which is Abe Duquet's show, where I'm not going to give it away. It's a new show, so you should stick around for that for sure. And then on Saturdays, we have a really cool show, which is going to be Feedback Saturdays. All right. So that's going to be hosted by one of our instructors who you haven't seen in a while, Atropolis. So he is going to be hosting Feedback Saturdays, and you can just send in a track. He'll give you feedback on it. So that's Saturdays at 1. And then on Sundays, we're doing reruns. So just a quick, so Mondays, it's going to be dolltr again with tips and tricks. Tuesdays is still going to be John Selway with Techno Tuesdays, one of our favorites. Then Wednesdays is going to be the Logic Show with Lewis Beck. Thursdays is going to be Theory Thursdays with me. I'm continuing. And of course, TAETRO Talks. Tonight, TAETRO is interviewing Lenny, so you've got to stick around for that. She's a really talented singer-songwriter, originally from Ireland, and she has some really dope music. She's actually also, besides being a great vocalist, she's a really cool producer. So stick around at 7 p.m. tonight, Eastern Time. TAETRO is interviewing Lenny. Friday, we have Abe's new show, and then Saturday we have Feedback with Atropolis. Let's see who else has just joined us. Scott, what's up? Yes, very nice lineup. So, what I wanted to share with you guys today is, by the way, since I have the camera kind of like loose today, I wanted to show you this cool, my new little wall decoration here, which is the 343 logo. Very excited about that. That just came in yesterday, and I think it looks pretty good. Let me just adjust this for just 1 second. All right. Oh yeah, the other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is that we've got a bunch of courses coming up all around the corner in the next week, in the next 3 days actually. So some are starting this weekend, and another bunch of courses starting next weekend. So if you haven't signed up for courses, this is the time to do so. We've got an Ableton Beginner, an Ableton Intermediate starting up in the next couple of days. We've got a Logic course starting up. We've got a mixing and mastering course starting up, a songwriting and music theory course starting up. So check out the website 343labs.com and you will see all that stuff up there. So for today's lesson, what we're going to do is we're going to train our ear. Okay, so a big part of creating music is, besides all the technical aspects of being able to work your software, and the music theory, like knowing what notes to use. Another big part of that is training your ear to be able to recognize sounds and kind of be able to follow your ear. And a lot of people are quite mystified by that concept, and they're like, well, I can't really hear it, or I don't know. For example, I don't know what key this song is in, or I don't know what note is being played right now. Well, guess what? The good news is that's all something that you can train. Okay, so, and we call that ear training. So I get these questions a lot, and I thought today we'd spend some time just figuring out how to train our ear and trying to figure out the key of a song. I get that a lot. B, maybe we can get into some some time signatures. So most of the time we're in 4/4, but not always, right? So sometimes we have odd meter. How do you figure that out? And then maybe we can get into, if we have time, figuring out the actual notes to a melody or a bass line. All right, so we call that transcription. So what I want everyone to do right now is please drop in the chat what song you would like to find the key for. All right, drop in the chat right now. What song were you always wondering, like, what is the key to that song? And we'll start with that. I'll show you techniques. There's a couple different techniques that I like to use to figure out the key of a song. So I'll just give you a couple seconds to figure that out. And also, next question, what would your technique be to figuring out the key of the song? What is the most important aspect of defining the key of a song? All right, so let's see what you guys come up with. I'm going to head over to my Spotify and I'm going to pick, let me just make sure that I have live set up here. Okay, that seems to be working. All right, so I've just got a piano loaded here. And what I like to work with is just a piano, okay? When I'm trying to figure out the key of the song. I mean, people have perfect pitch, okay? There are people that can hear a sound and they know exactly what sound that is, okay? But for most of us, we don't have perfect pitch. So what we need to do is we need to take another instrument and match that to the sound of the song, Okay, and I like to use a piano because it has a neutral sound. Cool. So I'm gonna pick a random song here because you guys are not coming up with anything. Oh, Stairway to Heaven. Scott, thank you for that. Roller 8 says, I still struggle with this, especially if it's in another mode. Yes, for sure. So, in fact, modes is also something that we're going to be talking about in the coming weeks. Roller 8, I often cheat and use a plugin tool. What plugin tool is that, Roller 8? I'd be curious to know. I know there are a bunch of plugins. And in fact, I'll even show you in Ableton Live how you can kind of cheat and use the technology to figure out the key. But it's a little, it's hit and miss. Okay, so let's do what Scott suggested, Stairway to Heaven. So I'm gonna head over to Spotify. And let's just see what this sounds like.
Hey,
All right.
mama said the way you move gonna make you sweat, gonna make you groove. Ah, way you shake that thing, gonna make you burn, gonna make you stay. Hey, baby, when you walk that way, watch honey drip, can't keep away.
All right, great track, classic song. So let's see if anyone came up with anything. Bilal, what's up? Nice to see you here. I don't have a song, but my technique for finding the key is just feeling the do and the do, I guess. Sorry, feeling the do and finding the note on the piano. Exactly, but so how do you find the do? That's the question. Roller 8 right now is Hornet plugin song key. Okay, I'll have to check that out. That was A minor. Well, Bilal says that was A minor. Bilal, how did you figure that out? And let's see if you were right. So the way that you figure out the key of a song is you've got to listen to the bass. All right, the bass or the lowest note is always going to define the key. So the way that the ear hears is the lowest pitches first, and everything else is in context of the lowest pitches. And if there is no bass playing at a given time, it'll usually be one of the chord instruments, and the ear will kind of figure out what the root is of a certain chord. Okay, but for the most part, the bass is playing the root of the chord, so the bass is always the best way to go. And if there is no bass in a certain section, just head over to a section where the bass is playing, and usually there'll be a section with bass. So I'm going to go back to Spotify and hear that bass. Okay, now the other thing that you might have noticed is that the bass is playing a bunch of notes. Well, there was a guitar playing, right? But the bass might be playing a bunch of notes, so it's kind of hard to figure out which note it is that is the root of the key. So the other thing to say is that the root of the key is going to be the note that sounds the most like it is resolved. Okay, the note that has the highest sense of resolution, and that is something that you kind of get with experience, but you can kind of feel where the tension, there's like tension, and then there's release, and that note which has the most release is usually the note that is the root of the key. So let's try to figure that out. So that when it hit that downbeat, boom, boom, and Bilal, you're right, that's an A. So, I mean, I got to the A pretty quick, but let's say that you didn't know it was A, and like your finger went to, and let's just go to a different, so that you can see the piano here. Because you can't see the piano. But you can see the piano here, right? So you've got A. That's A. Now if you hit, like, let's say an F, and you were playing that F with the song, right? That F just doesn't sound like it's resolved, like it's part of the song, okay? So then you would just go up, and you would maybe go to the F sharp, and you'd kind of climb up note by note till you get to the right note. If you're like at this note and you're playing the song, you can just hear that that's wrong, right? And then when you get to that A, it sounds like it's matching, and it also sounds like it has the most or the highest sense of resolution. So yeah, the key of this, well, so that's the root of the song, or the root note of the song. Now we don't know if it's major or minor yet. So the next step, and this is how a key is defined. A key is defined by a root note, and then the type of triad that is built off the root note. So if that's if it's a major triad, then we would be in a major key. If it's a minor triad, it would be in a minor key. And there's only two options. It's either major or it's minor. So if I go over to Live and I type in A, right, we know it's A. A major triad, as we learned before, is 4 half steps and 3 half steps. So that would be 4 half steps, and here's 3 half steps. So that's the major triad. So let's just see if that sounds good with the song.
Still got a flaming hard kick.
All right. And now let's try minor. And this is kind of a good example because this could be kind of tricky. I'm going to play it again with major. All right, doesn't sound bad. Now let's try switching that over to minor. So I'm going to take the middle note, the third, and move that down a half step. All right, so actually, it kind of feels like it could be either, right? It's kind of hard to distinguish in this one. Now, what we would do next to really figure out the key is to see if there are any other chord instruments playing the major triad or the minor triad. So let's just skip forward a bit. right, so yeah. So if you listen very carefully to the guitars and the voice, they're playing notes that include a C. Right? There's this melody that's going da 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 da, right? And that means that it's got to be minor. Okay? Listen again. Like that chord right there. Let's listen to that chord again. Da. Alright, so that song to me is in A minor, correct, Bilal. So it took a bit of a detour to get there, but I just wanted to show my process of figuring that out. Great. Let's see. Do we have any other suggestions for songs? Alright, if not, I'm just going to go to my Spotify top 40 or suggestions here. Ooh, I was listening to Medicine the other day. Let's check out what he's got. Really dope producer. Let's just go with a random song here. Check it out. Can anyone figure out the key to this song while it's playing? If you had a piano. Alright, so there's some bass right there. So I'm going to try to figure out what that bass is. Sounds like it might be a C. Alright, let's listen again. Now, let's see if it is a minor. So would it be, let's just get rid of this for a second. So I'm hearing the C and the bass. Now is it a C major? Or is it a C minor? Alright, Well, I'm kind of jumping ahead, but I'm hearing these notes here, which in the melody. So now I'm gonna see what the bass note would be. Let's listen again. It might actually be E flat. Maybe I was wrong. I think it's E flat. I'm hearing this note in the bass. E flat or D sharp. Yeah, I'm hearing that. So the chord that would give us is E flat, and then we have, it's almost like an A flat major, A flat major 7 over an E flat. So that's kind of a very jazzy chord. I would actually kind of call that a suspended chord because there's no third in it. A suspended chord is when you have the fourth in the chord instead of the third. So there's no third being played here. That would be the third, the G. Let's see what the chat thinks. Anyone come up with Scott, E or F? E flat major. Yeah, Bilal, I think I'm more with you. E flat major or C minor, and Scott, I don't think it's an E, because if you were to play, so the easiest way to find out if you're right or if you're off is just play an E. All right, if you play an E next with the song. Right, you can tell that it's off, so it's not going to be E. And with E flat, since that E flat major works, and C minor works as well, because C minor is the relative minor of E flat major. So there's C minor. So there's my C minor 7 chord, or my E flat major 7 chord. And they both work, so they're actually the same scale. So here's my E flat major scale. So E flat, F, G, A flat or G sharp, B flat or A sharp, C, D, E flat. And my C minor chord, or C minor scale rather, is exactly the same notes. It's kind of like going from C major to A minor. That's the relative major minor relationship, where the major scale and the relative minor share the same notes. So yeah, so Bilal, I'm with you. I think that's it could be either D sharp major or E flat major, and B sharp minor. Oh, I think my head hurts if I just say that key. I would just call it C minor. All right, great. Let's pick any other songs, any suggestions, and I'll try to figure them out. drop them in the chat, okay? Let's see. I'm gonna pick another random song. Let's try to get something going here that all right, big fan of Bonobo. Let's pick a Bonobo song. First one. So let's wait for the bass to drop. Vinny, what's up? Eve's Gospel for a New Century. All right, we'll check that out next. So I've heard this like little pattern that that one instrument is playing the kind of lead sound at the moment. So the first thing I'm actually going to try to do is I'm going to try to figure that out, because the more notes I know, or the more notes that I recognize within the song, they're going to help me figure out the key as well. So even if the bass hasn't dropped yet, figuring out as many notes as possible of the song is going to help me. So let's figure out. So I have a terrible voice, but I'm a big believer of trying to sing the note first and just trying to match the song, your voice, with the sounds that you're listening to. Da, and then trying to find that note on the piano. Da. See, so first I went here. Show you what I did. So first I went to C and it was totally wrong. Da, da. And then I went to A and that was wrong. Da. Okay, so now when I was teaching ear training, I actually taught ear training at Dubspot. There were some students that had just not developed their ear enough yet, and they were like, well, I don't even know if I'm singing the right note, and if I am singing the right note, I just can't find it. So another thing that you can do is you can pull out your iPhone or your smartphone, and you can actually download a guitar tuner. All right, looks like this. And what you can do is when you hear a note and you sing it, where's that note? Da da da. So I'm hearing that note, da, but let's say I can't find it on the piano. Well, guess what? I'll just I will just sing it. Da. And it's saying that it's da and A. Da. Sorry, it's an A sharp. Da, or B flat. Da, da. So, use your tools. Use the tools that we have available to figure out the key to help you. So I'm hearing these two notes. Da, da. So that will help me determine the key later on, I'm sure. Let's keep going. And now I'm hearing this note. So I already have 3 notes now. I've got D flat or C sharp, B flat or A sharp, and G sharp or A flat. And you can hear the synth there again, go. Playing these notes. So a bunch of instruments are playing all these same notes. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to jump forward to find the bass. There it is. So now I'm just going to use my ear to try to figure out what that sound is on the bass. Da. Da. Sounds like an E flat. All right, now this is kind of important. Let me just go back to the piano or Ableton. There we go. So I figured out it was this E flat that was being played by the bass. Quite often the bass will be playing the root at the beginning of a phrase. So quite often in music, we have like 4-bar phrases or 8-bar phrases. When we get to that first bar, that's when the bass is playing the root of the root of the key. Okay, so let's listen to that again. It's playing a D flat, but I don't think that's that doesn't sound so resolved to me. Does anyone know the key to the song? Can anyone figure it out? Let me go back to where the bass dropped initially. So that note, what is it? Jeff A says it's a B flat. I think a B flat is close, but not a B. I don't hear a B. I hear a B flat, but is it the root? Yeah, it could be a B flat. Yeah, I'm hearing a B flat. So this is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing a B flat and then an E flat. So let's listen again. Alright, so I'm actually hearing this as the root. I'm hearing the E flat as the root. Alright? And I'm hearing a G flat and a B flat. So to me it sounds like E flat minor. B B flat minor or D flat major. Okay, Bilal is going. So let's try out B flat minor. Let's try that with the song. So the interesting thing about B flat minor and E flat minor is that they are kind of related. Okay, they're both in the circle of fifths next to each other, and we'll talk about the circle of fifths another time. But they have a lot of the same notes. They're only one, in terms of the key signature, they're only one flat away from each other. Okay, so here's B flat minor. And here's E flat minor. So I'm gonna go with E flat minor, Bilal, because I'm hearing this note, a B, and a B is a note that is found in the E flat minor scale and not really in the B minor scale. In the B flat minor scale. If you wanted to play a B flat minor scale from using those notes, it would actually be a mode, which would actually be the Phrygian mode. Sorry. That's B flat Phrygian, and modes is something we're gonna cover in a couple weeks. So I think it's E flat minor. All right, let's do one more, and this we're gonna do Vinny's song. So, E's Gospel for a New Century. Let's check it out. Nice. So here we go, Vinny. This is for you. And Tree of the Way, can you use mix and key? So that's a great question. Tree of the Way, you can use mix and key, and for the most part mix and key will get you a accurate result. But the thing is that there's going to be like for 90 to 95% of the time mix and key is going to be accurate and it's going to get you the right key. But there are going to be certain times when it's going to mess up. So it's good to have both. And it's always good to just train your ear so that you can recognize it. So that if mixing key is wrong, and it has been wrong in the past, you can kind of pick up on that using your ear. Tune Bat says key is F sharp. So Jeffe, key of F sharp. And I'm going to come back to that and say, well, guess what? E flat and F sharp. F sharp really is the enharmonic of G flat. And here's F sharp or G flat. Oh. And that is the relative major to E flat. So just going back to that song for 1 second before we do Vinny's song. Let's listen again. So here we go. That's F sharp or G flat. Down an octave. It would definitely be F sharp major, not minor, because this would be F sharp minor. And that does not sound good with a song. Right? So it would be F sharp major. And F sharp major is the relative major to E flat minor, or D sharp minor, same thing, D sharp, E flat. Okay, so Jeffy, that's a great point. Could be F sharp major, but at the end of the day, F sharp and E flat are kind of the same scale, same root. I mean, not same root, but same notes. All right, let's get to, hey Becky, what's up? Nice to see you. Roller 8 says, being able to do this myself would be the most ideal. Yes, Roller 8, and guess what? The good news is that you can practice it. All right, in fact, if you take our songwriting and music theory course, it's something that we cover there. So yeah, would love to kind of go through this in person with you. Let's check out last song for this stream, and that is Vinny's Gospel for a New Century. Oh, that's not the right one. Here we go. All right, this is a great song. It actually sounds like it might have just kind of modulated, or not modulated, but kind of, it sounded really dark in the beginning, kind of like it was more in a minor mode or minor key, and then for a second there, it kind of got brighter, so it like went into maybe the major. Solve it. All right, so let's check out the bass in the beginning. All right, and you can definitely hear a bass in there. So I'm hearing this note, da. So here we go, piano, da. All right, anyone got it? I got A. All right, Bilal's with me. He's saying switch modes from minor to major. That's what I'm thinking, right? So I'm hearing this note, which is an A. Let's see if that sounds right with the bass line. All right, let's just figure out that like horn line there. Da 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 da. So. See what I'm just kind of going by ear here. Da da. Da, 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 that's actually an F major pentatonic scale. Alright, that's an F major pentatonic scale. 5 notes. Okay? So the melody is kind of indicating that. But the bass was playing, let's check it out again. It was playing an A. Alright, so the bass was actually doing something misleading. It was playing the 5th, alright? It was playing the 5th of of the key, which is A. And so the root I am hearing as a D. And I'll just show you that relationship. You've got an F major pentatonic, but if you put, sorry, the F major pentatonic is right here. There's our F major pentatonic, right? If you put a D here, it changes everything. All right, it actually turns it into a D minor pentatonic. That's a D minor pentatonic. And I think the key is D minor. And Bilal is with me on that. Nice. And I think if I play that D minor chord, it sounds good with the song. Now let's check out the modulation where it changes key for a second.
I think I can solve it.
Alright, right there, it changes key.
I think I can solve it.
It's playing a B flat. The bass is playing a B flat. Check it out.
I think I can solve it.
It's going to B flat major. Check it out.
I think I can solve it. I can be.
And check it out. It works with the song because we're in D minor. And the D minor scale is this. And now we go to B flat major. All right. So B flat major and D minor also share a lot of the same notes. Great track, Vinny. So we see that not only are we in, did we figure out the key, which was D minor, but we also figured out the modulation into that new section, which was B flat major. All right, so what they're doing is they're starting with kind of more of a darker vibe and then lifting the song up by going into that majorish vibe. Very cool. So just to wrap up real quick, because we don't have a lot of time, the way to figure out the key of a song is try to figure out the bass. Figure out the bass note. If there is no bass, skip ahead to where you can actually hear the bass. The next thing is try to figure out some other notes that are happening in the song. Like it could be like a chord instrument, like a guitar or piano, but it could also be a vocal or a lead or some other instrument. And try to figure out what those notes are. And then let's try to see if you can build a major or a minor triad on that root. And if you really can't do that, just play a major triad from the root and play it along to the song. If it sounds good, then it's probably major. If it sounds bad, then try minor. All right? And if the minor triad sounds better than the major one, then guess what? We're in minor. So, you know, it's a bit of trial and error experience and just training your ear. Like the more you do it, the better and faster you'll get. So that's my advice to finding the key of a song. And yeah, of course you can use plugins, you can use technology. You should. It'll definitely also help you if you're in a pinch and you need to figure it out fast. But don't rely on it because it might not always be right. All right, Bilal is saying he's with me. Cool. Modulation, yes. So that I guess you could kind of call that a modulation. A modulation is when you change key within a song. So in this case, they're modulating to a related key, related because it uses a lot of the same notes, but nevertheless, it's a modulation. And modulation is something that we can also get in a little later on. So just wanted to thank you guys again for sticking around. Wanted to remind you the upcoming classes. All right, in the next couple days, starting this weekend and all of next week, we have classes in Ableton, Logic, mixing and mastering, songwriting, music theory, and vocal production. We also have an Ableton Immersive that is starting at the beginning of August. All right, and that one meets 4 days a week online. So that one really gets you stuck in deep into learning everything you need to know. It's a 4-week course with the option to extend to 6 weeks. So that's our most comprehensive Ableton Live course. As you know, we're an Ableton Certified Training Center. So, hopefully that says something about us. I want to thank you guys all for joining again. Please stick around for TAETRO. TAETRO Talks today is going to feature an amazing singer-songwriter, Lenny. She is an Irish singer-songwriter, some really dope songs, and she's actually also a really cool producer. So definitely stick around for that. Then again, real quick, tomorrow is Abe's show. And he's got a brand new show. I'm not going to give it away, but he's doing something new. So 1 p.m. Abe's show tomorrow right here. And on Saturday, we've got feedback sessions with Atropolis. All right. So if you want to get your songs heard and get some feedback on them, you can join the session right here on YouTube. Just make sure you have it uploaded and paste a link in the chat. And Atropolis will take a listen and give you feedback on it. Please, if you aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribe right now. Hit the subscribe button and the bell button if you want to get notifications when we go live, because we're going live every day. So we wouldn't want you to miss out. And we really appreciate the support. So thank you, and that's it for today. Thanks for joining me. I will see you guys next week, same time, same place. Take care.